Hi, this is Dave again with TRH Acrylic Creations, and welcome to my section of the Pourembrance collaboration. This is a collaboration that's going over several days with, I think the last count was 51 artists from around the world that are going to be participating in this. And this is in honor of our men and women in uniform. The theme for this was to choose a camouflage uniform of our choosing and trying to come up with a creation that uses the colors or our imitation of what that camouflage is. So I've chosen a color pattern today that is going to be reminiscent of the desert cami that I wore during the Gulf War back in the 90s. It was my last conflict that I had to deal with before I was medically retired. I spent basically the better part of 20 years in the United States Marine Corps, and I have no regrets about that time. I have friends that will be forever friends till the day I die, and it's a brotherhood and sisterhood. There's nothing like what it is. So in honor of that, that's what this is all about. So behind me, you're going to see the piece that I came up with. I have no idea what it looks like yet. So you're privy to what it's going to be before I see. So let's, without any further ado, let's get down to the color layer and we'll talk about what we're going to do. Let's talk about our colors that we'll be using. This is titanium buff. This is going to be my background color for this painting. It looks kind of yellowish here, but it's actually very creme, and it's opaque. So that's the biggest draw for me on this. It is my only tube paint that I'm going to be using as in my pour layer. This is by this little Piggy, beautiful interference gold. This is Honeycomb by this little Piggy. This is Mango by this little Piggy. This is Horizon by this little Piggy. It's a brand new color to my palette. Just came out on the 13th of October. This is Burnt Sierra by this little Piggy. This is Bloodstone by this little Piggy. It was kind of an afterthought. I'm hoping it adds some depth for the brown end of things, and although it's a black-red. And this is Storm, and I actually mean for this to be more of an accent color. My cell activators are going to be Amsterdam titanium white mixed with 3 parts of Australian Floetrol. And that was kind of eyeballed. It might be just slightly less than that. It might be more like 2.5. This is Willy Wagtail Black. That's a Boom Gel product. I call it a cell enhancer. It's it's a gel stain, and so for some reason those two together are pretty magnificent as far as how they react. So let's get down to the canvas and we'll talk about the next part. Okay, I'm going to be pouring on a 16-inch round by Paramount. It has been taped and prepped and is basically ready to go. My intention on this is I'm going to do a blowout, and very much in the style of what you see Karen Durskin do on waterfall acrylics. Okay, first thing down is going to be PPG Multi-Pro. This is my pillow paint. The pillow paint is simply down to allow your color layer to float across. Gives it something to support it so that it can stretch out as much as you need it to. So I put a healthy amount down. It's important that you don't put down too much or too little. It's kind of a Goldilocks thing. It has to be right there in the zone, because you don't want to have to so much paint that you have to spin forever. At the same time, you want it to be enough to be able to cover the sides. Fine balance. Once I have this thing flooded out the way I want to see it, add a little bit more in the middle, because I did, when I spun it out, I did thin it out right there in the middle, and that's where my paints are going to go, my color layer is going to go. This is Titan Buff, and it is intended to represent more of a sand color. For whatever reason, this it looks a little greenish. It really isn't in person. So I put a nice big swatch down there because I want that to be the predominant background color. And the first thing I'm putting down is Storm. This is this little Piggy product. Just came out in their latest release. Did I say Storm? I meant Bloodstone. Again, both of these, all three of these. It was it's Bloodstone followed by Burnt Sarah. Followed by Horizon. It's all in a brown orange side of things here. This is Mango. And Honeycomb. Okay, this is Ball Gown by This Little Piggy also. A lot of my This Little Piggies on this one. This is Storm. It's the third of the brand new ones that I have. It's a beautiful gray, and I'm glad they had a gray in here that I can really, I mean, it's so soft. It's, I kind of like Storm a lot. This is Willy Wagtail Black. This is my Cell Enhancer, beautiful paint, gel gloss, and it pairs so well with the Cell Activator that the two of them just, they work hand in hand. So it's the Cell Activator is going to be Titanium White by Amsterdam. Popping a few bubbles. I'm trying to get the paint. There we go. There's the titanium white. Now, the titanium white, like I said earlier, is mixed with 3 parts of Australian Floetrol. That's the magic sauce. That's what creates the cells. And the way cells are formed is it's actually a heavier paint, and so the paint will fall through and create those cells. And what I've done is I picked up my flat hairdryer, and I'm going to blow these out. This came out as a more of a balloon, but in truth, I was looking more for a alcohol ink type feel to this, and you can get that when you work with the hairdryer. I'm not a big fan of only brown. The black in the truest sense with this desert cami would not be there. You wouldn't have black. But I needed a contrast. I needed something to put the browns against so that it had something that they would stand out. All I'm doing here is I'm just blowing it out a little bit more. I got a little bit of extra Cell Activator there, and so I had to do something with it and get it to start to move a little bit. And I had to kind of get aggressive with the straw. So what I'm doing here is up along that line, there's a definite line of black there, and I wanted to break that up just a little bit. Especially further back away from the edge, because I'm not sure that all that was going to, if it was going to spin off or not. picked up my smaller straw. See if I can get some more pinpoint, a little bit more power behind it to be able to get it to start to sell out. And it did. It's interesting, once you break that tension across the top of the bottom layer of paints, it will freely start to sink at that point. And that's the whole point with the cells. Such a satisfying process. Again, I'm just trying to break up that hard line that's there. I don't mind some of it, but too much of that can really change the appearance of what I was looking for. On the normal cami, there's only 4 colors. There's 4 shades of brown and tan. But I want a little bit more depth than that, so I took some artistic liberty. Okay, it's time to start to spin this out. I'm noticing automatically that one side just decided, I'm going to go off first, and I didn't want to have the piece to become lopsided. So I took it off center just a little bit, so it would force it to the other side. Encouraging going around the edge here, and encouraging the paint to go over the sides by getting the dry canvas covered up a little bit so it can flow easier. Nice, but I think I pretty much decided, well, it's going to go over regardless. So I didn't mind if I had a little bit of negative space on the side there, because it just was, it would be fine for me to have negative space. I'm not one to shy away, so. Recommend sticking around for the rest of the artists over this 5-day period. Lots of good art coming your way. So make sure you check the train schedule, and it will be automatically send you to the next. So I hope you're enjoying this so far. What I'm going to do now is I'm going around the edges. I'm getting those drips. The chancy thing about allowing the drips to sit is they will continue to pull your paint layer across. So you might have a composition you really like, and if you haven't taken care of the drips, you come back and it'll have changed. And sometimes, depending on the thickness of your paint, it'll change drastically. Okay, what you saw me there doing is I was showing you the depth of the paint, and I think I made the decision that I really needed to continue to spin just a little bit more. Surprisingly, it looks like I'm pulling a lot of paint off the bottom there, but surprisingly enough, there really wasn't that much extra paint that was left on top of the canvas. Okay, let's take a look at this depth. I think we got it. So it's about time to think about going down for the flyover. Notice how much the lacing in this just came out beautifully. I had some bubbles that did pop, but I don't mind that. That actually adds to that sand-like appearance. And I did get some undershadowing, so that's overall I consider this to be a pretty satisfying piece, and I think we'll definitely find some resin on it, find a place for it on the walls. I want to thank Nathan for putting together this colossal event. 52 artists in 5 days. That's just pretty astounding amount of work that he put into it. It's much appreciated. I hope that you found this piece useful and you were able to glean some of the information for your own work. For me, this was very helpful. It allowed me to process some things that I hadn't taken care of yet. So mentally, this was a great piece for me. And I want to thank you all for being here and hope to see you next time. Bye for now.